Consulting and Joyful Websites. I've been getting a lot of questions about caching lately, and in addition to the post I recently wrote, I'd like to do a little video to cover some things that you can do if you are using SiteGround as a hosting company. They have some really nice tools that are available at no extra charge. Some of them do depend on the level of service that you have, but what I'm going to show you here is the things that are available to everybody, regardless. Um, I love SiteGround. I do have some sites that are on a different platform that I started out with, but over time I am moving everybody to SiteGround, and I have about 100 sites there now. So I've been working with SiteGround for about 4 years, and I really love their customer service and think that they provide a top-notch service with a lot of value. So when you host with them, they have a plugin called the SG for SiteGround Optimizer that's built into the back end of your website. And there are some settings right in here that you can use to adjust how your site is performing that can really help speed up the load speed, which means how fast your pages are loading on the front end for your visitors, just by enabling some of these pieces here. So I'm going to talk about that, and then I'm also going to talk about purging it, because as some of you have experienced, the higher the level of caching, the multiple levels of caching, the more challenging it can be to edit your website, because you're seeing old copies or old versions of your content sometimes, and that can be really frustrating and take a lot more time. It often seems like the things that you're changing aren't taking hold. They're not, it looks like you didn't make the changes that you thought you just made. In reality, you have, but the caching system is interfering with what you're seeing. So first, I'd like to go through the plugin that's available here. And we're just going to start at the first tab, the Super Cacher Settings. And you're going to want to turn this on. And with any of these, I'll talk about a few of them in a little more detail, but with any of these, generally speaking, I would encourage you to take a more gradual approach and make a change, purge the cache, take a look on the front end, click around, make sure that things seem to be working the way that they should. If you have a learning environment like LearnDash or WP courseware, make sure that you go into some of that content and that it seems to be functioning okay. You have WooCommerce or any other e-commerce type platform, same thing. Check your forms, so just do a little digging around and make sure that things seem to be working fine. If you go any further, if you do that and you encounter a problem, you'll know exactly what you did and what you need to undo to go any further before you go any further. If you wait till the end, it can be kind of challenging. That being said, most of these things are completely safe, and they're really not going to cause many issues for you at all. But I'll talk about the ones that might. So first here is this dynamic caching. You want to go ahead and turn that on. It's under the Super Cacher settings. And we want to activate this caching, this automatic cache purge after every content modification. So I'm going to come back to that, but you want to make sure that that is active. We're going to leave this one alone because it really says you should only use it in some instances, so we're just going to skip that. There is a spot here for you to be able to exclude some URLs. An e-commerce, for example, you may not want that. You might want them seeing fresh content all of the time, so you may not want those URLs to load to be cached. But for most of the websites, standard blog posts, standard pages, you're not going to see too many issues with them being cached. And then the next part on this page is this memcached, and we're going to go ahead and yes. So So some of this has to be turned on in the back end, but if you're able to turn it on, go ahead and do that. I will do that after the fact, but I'm going to keep going with the video. So then under the environment optimization, you want to make sure that you have the HTTPS enabled and that it's fixing insecure content. This will not work if you don't have an SSL certificate attached to the back end. So if you're having problems with it, that's probably why. The next section is the gzip compression and browser caching. Um, these should both be turned on as well. In the front end optimization, some of these get a little bit tricky. You are generally safe to minify the HTML, generally safe to minify CSS. Sometimes some of these other ones up here can cause issues with the site. So if you're not sure and you're not very technical, it's probably best to just skip those. Moving down a little bit further, it's pretty safe to optimize the loading of Google fonts. I would always suggest that because those can slow down sites. I've seen that happen a lot. This is another one that can sometimes cause issues, so if you're not sure, I would just leave it alone. And then the last one is the disable emojis. You'll still be able to have them on there, but they're just going to be, they're not going to be just generated for you. So, and then the last tab here is for image optimization. You always want all the new images coming into your site to be optimized for your site and for WordPress. And then if you have existing images prior to turning this on, there will be an option here to take care of those images as well in terms of optimization. Mine are already optimized, so it's not necessary. This can take a while to run through its process site. So just know that, and sometimes it's better to just say go ahead and do that and then go focus on something else for a while until it completes. And then the last piece is this lazy load images. So basically what that means is that when you're scrolling down a page, the images are not going to show up until you get to that section of the page. It sometimes can look at, when they first start to come up, like maybe there is just a blank space there and the image comes in. When I first started seeing some of this, it was a little jarring to me because I thought people's websites were messed up, but they really weren't. They were just early adopters of the lazy load option, which is really helpful, particularly on mobile devices. So you can't really hurt much in doing this, but if it's causing problems for any areas of your site, then you may want to make adjustments. You're pretty safe to do gravatars. You are pretty safe to do the thumbnails, and then beyond that is kind of just a personal choice. I'm going to leave it here. There is a way, it's a little more technical, but if you need to exclude some images from lazy load, there is a way to do that using CSS and classes, and you need to assign classes to those images. And I'm doing a little coding speak here. So probably not something that you want to tackle too much. I would just focus on what you want to do here to get the best results that you can. Okay, so you might have experienced a slight delay there. I didn't want to make you wait while it loaded, but I went ahead and ran a test on another site where I made just the changes that I've done here to this site, and I experienced about a 25% increase in load speed with just these. I am going to go back onto the server and enable the memcached option and the content delivery network option and see what that helps with as well. I'm going to guess that it will cut at least another 25% off and get the site loading pretty darn quick. So I'm not going to bore you with me digging around in the back end of the server, but I'm going to go ahead and make those changes, and I'll put some comments in the post here about what I saw for improvement from those additional changes that need to be done at the server level. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was purging the cache, clearing the cache. So what you need to understand about caching is that it happens at a lot of different levels. It happens with the tools that you use to develop a website, regardless of what they are. And I'm not speaking even specifically to WordPress. I'm saying any tools are going to have some level of caching built in. You're going to have it in the browsers that you're using. You're going to have it with your internet provider. You're going to have it with any Wi-Fi that you're using. So there just are a lot of different layers, and some of them you can't control. But if you're experiencing problems where you're not seeing changes, a couple of things. So we have in this space activated the, where was that? Automatic cache purge, so that every time there's a content modification, it should purge the cache so that you'll see your changes right away. I've also found, so you can also use this button here, it'll do kind of the same thing. I've also found that it can be helpful to make changes in an incognito browser or a private browser, which disables impact that caching piece. If you're still having issues, I would probably come in here and turn some of these things off, so that you can develop in a less stressful space and a much faster space, but these should take care of it. Now, I'm a PC gal. I don't use Apple products. I tried when I was in school, but I could never adapt. Everybody around me in our Photoshop and Illustrator classes and web design were on these really big, beautiful Macs, and I wanted to love them, but I just didn't. And I would sit there with my laptop in front of the Mac and do my work. So on a PC keyboard, the Control key and the letter R will also refresh your page, and the function key, that an F5 key, will also reload and refresh your page, so you can try those right on your keyboard. I find those to be pretty effective. Whatever the equivalent is for those on a Mac would probably work really well if you are using a Mac and experiencing some issues. So you should be able to go through, and the settings that I've done in here are all pretty safe, but you always want to check the front end and make sure that things seem to be working the way they are. Go into any special features you have set up, make sure you check them. And then if you need to purge it, you can purge it here, you can purge it up here, you can work in an incognito or private browser, or if you're on a PC, you can use the Control R or the function and then the F5 key to also clear your page. And I have found just using those keyboard shortcuts to be the most effective, the quickest way for me if I'm ever experiencing issues. I hope that this was helpful. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to help and would be happy to do so. Have a great one. Thanks for joining me.